Hi, it's Juliana again. We're moving away from the disability topic this week and going to something I thought everyone might find interesting. Video games. A simple history from 1952 to 2000. Yeah, that's right, 1952. Video games have been around for decades and decades. I wasn't allowed to play them until I was a little bit older, and my first real game was Mario Kart for the DS. I remember when the 3DS first came out and when everyone had a Wii at home. Video games have been around for a very long time, and in that time, they've changed a lot. So let's take a look at the history from when they were first invented to the year 2000. There are a lot of words to understand when talking about them, so we'll look into what those mean as well. Subtitles are available in English and will be in Spanish in about a week. Don't forget you can open the transcript as well. The first video games. They were on very large computers. The computers look like this. One of them was OXO, which was tic-tac-toe, on one of those large computers, and it was created in 1952. It was the very first. The game was versus the computer, and you typed in what actions you wanted to take. Tennis for Two, created in 1958, allowed 2 players and had a controller, which was an advancement from OXO. The first arcade games. Arcade games are special because they're big machines that you pay to play the game they have on them. The first arcade game was called Computer Space and was released in 1971. It looked like this. Another very early arcade game was Pong, which was made to look like table tennis. It was the first commercially successful game, meaning it sold a lot. The company behind it was Atari, and they're the reason that special places just to play arcade games started being opened. These are just called arcades. Atari helped the video game industry become what it still is today. Industry is the making and selling of something. Milestones for arcade games. Milestones are important advancements when things begin to change. Arcade games began a golden age, or time where the industry was at its busiest and most successful after the release of Space Invaders in 1978. It also sparked the shooting genre. This is what Space Invaders look like. Pac-Man was released in 1980 and was successful and known for its bright colors and iconic character. Donkey Kong from Nintendo introduced Mario in 1981. This is what that game looked like. There's Mario right here. 1983 was the end of the golden age, and when arcades began a decline in popularity in favor of consoles. The beginning of consoles. A console is a machine made just for playing video games, just like an arcade machine is. A 3DS and a PS4 are both home consoles, meaning you can buy them to play games at home. So that's what a home console is. These are home consoles. The first one to be made and sold, released in 1972, and could play 28 simple games. It was called the Magnavox Odyssey. It looked like this, and this is an example of what one of its games was, which is just a little simple thing of tennis. It was different from how video games were played before because it could be hooked to a TV. A console generation is a time period in which consoles being made are similar to each other, and how they look and work. A new generation begins as something changes in one console, causing other consoles to change too. Console generations last about 5 years. Atari's 1977 Atari 2700 that had joysticks and cartridges began the second generation of consoles. Like Atari, Nintendo was very important to video game industry and history. It's a Japanese company, and it brought back video game popularity after a bad period where many companies went bankrupt or unable to pay what they needed to keep existing. They released the NES, and its improved graphics, gameplay, and sound made it very successful. Gameplay is how and what you can do in a game, and graphics are visual images created by computer processors. Many Nintendo classics followed on this platform and on others. This is an NES. Milestones for the console included the beginning of many franchises. A franchise is multiple games from one story or character released by one company. So many classics released in the 80s included Tetris, one of the best-selling games ever, in 1984, Super Mario Bros., which was massively successful in 1985 for the NES, The Legend of Zelda, also for the NES, in 1986, and Final Fantasy in 1987. This is Final Fantasy, and it cemented the Japanese role-playing game genre. This is the first Legend of Zelda, and this is the first Super Mario Bros. That's what all those releases look like. Handheld consoles, a console that has its own screen without needing a TV and it can be held in your hands. The first to be released was in 1976, but 1989's Nintendo Game Boy made them successful. So in the 90s, and still today, handheld consoles are just as solid an industry as normal home consoles. This is what a Game Boy looked like. Unlike Atari, Nintendo still exists today and is still very successful. Atari doesn't exist anymore. Early computer games. Video games started out on computers, but those computers weren't in people's homes. They were special government, huge company things. It's hard to explain, but people didn't own them at home because they were so large and expensive. So when home computers became things that people actually bought, playing on home computers began in the late 70s and became a successful industry in the 80s. Computers began being built with games in mind, playing games on it. Online games began, but they were all very text-based. This is what those computer games looked like during the late 70s and early 80s. Milestones for computers. There are many games by smaller companies and people being made for computers, so the history is less easy to describe, but from the 70s to early 80s, most computer games were interactive fiction stories. They only had text on the screen, and you typed in what actions you wanted to take. During the golden age of arcade gaming, ports or releases on different platforms of popular arcade games became what most people had on their computers. 1986 saw Habitat, which is right here, and other massive multiplayer online games, or MMOs, and those were successful in the late 80s and are still continuing to be a successful industry today. An example of an MMO that still exists today would be League of Legends. Console wars. Nowadays, consoles are always in competition with another console that may be similar. The best-known current example is Xbox and PlayStation. These are known as console wars. And the first console war ever was between Sega and Nintendo after Sega released the Genesis, which is right here. It had better sound and graphics. It was cheaper, I believe, and after it released Sonic the Hedgehog on it, it became very popular and it ended up selling more than the NES. So Nintendo created the SNES to directly compete in 1990. So with console wars, companies create consoles with the goal of being better than another company's console, instead of just creating a console to make one. That is the strategy that companies now, Xbox and PlayStation, take. They want to be better than each other so that they will sell more. The 1990s, games began to change a lot, and 3D graphics were able to be used. This is Super Mario 64, which was released on the Nintendo 64, and its 3D capabilities were very important to video game graphics and what video games look like. The PlayStation 1 was released, and most games for the PlayStation 1 also had 3D graphics. Pokemon Red and Blue, which was the first Pokemon, was released in 1996 for the Game Boy. You see the graphics are much simpler. Handheld consoles were a bit too simple for 3D graphics at this time. And discs became used instead of cartridges, as you can see here where a disc would go. Continuing the 90s, Sega's Dreamcast allowed for online gaming, previously exclusive to computer gaming, in 1998. And after that, most consoles had online capabilities. This is Sonic Adventure for the Dreamcast, released in 1998. Games became deeper and more unique. There were more options. There were kids' games, strategy, war, first-person shooters with Doom, and more franchises began, mostly adult franchises, like Grand Theft Auto and Fallout, both released in 1997. This is Metal Gear Solid. It is not the first Metal Gear game, but this is an example of more of what 3D gaming looked like, especially on the PlayStation. This was for the PlayStation. The end. It's a bit of a short one. Here's some art I finished since last lesson. Video games and disability are being talked about more than ever in recent years, and games are becoming more accessible for disabled players. Big game companies are adding more accessibility options with every release. Subtitles, text-to-speech, difficulty modes, and more are all for different kinds of disabled players. Even blind players can enjoy games like The Last of Us Part 2, which just came out. This is an example from the accessibility menu. And some of the options that blind players can use are text-to-speech, high contrast display so it's easier to make out shapes in case they're not fully blind, and the scale of menus to be larger so it's easier for them to see. I personally find difficulty modes important. They're what make games accessible for me. Because my hands are weaker, and if I can choose to play on an easy setting, I can actually make it through the game without hurting myself so bad. I hope to see you all soon. I started college classes, and they're really hard, so I'll be slowing down on these a little, but thank you for your time, and I hope to have more things to share with you. Bye.